So my opinion, this is our best play of the season. Cam Hart is lined up here on the numbers. He's working outside. But his responsibility, of course, is to defend this tight end. You see how he's shifting up on Goddard? But he realizes that Jalen Hurts, his eyes are looking at Dotson, who's about to make that break towards the outside. And he's able to drop back and get a hand on it, and he hits it in the air. And then Tony Jefferson reaches back, grabs it, goes down with it, and the Chargers win this football game. I mean, this is a maybe even potentially season-saving defensive play by Cam Hart. Now, the Chargers have to go to Arrowhead next week. We'll kind of see how that game goes. But for now, they're in a playoff spot. And the thing about this Bolts team, guys, is that if they make the playoffs, with the way the defense is playing, they still have Justin Herbert. Nobody wants to play this football team. Like, there's not a single team that's like, oh, we got the Chargers coming into town. Okay, yeah, we're in a good spot. That is just not a thing. The Chargers are extremely dangerous right now, and they're playing good football. It's not perfect football, but late in the year, December, January, you could run the ball, you could defend, you've got a good quarterback, you could beat anyone. It's as simple as that. Jim Harbaugh is an elite coach. Now, Dante Jackson is matched up one-on-one against A.J. Brown. He doesn't have any help. And this was honestly a very fortunate play for the Chargers, but it's also just flawless coverage. Like, look at this coverage. That is just insane. Now, A.J. Brown still has an opportunity to make a play on this ball, but the reason he doesn't is because of the coverage. He has to reach out with his left hand to come down with it because look how tight it is. Like, look at that. Jackson is draped all over him. He makes it so he can only use that left hand. And he also does a good job. You can see he's tracking the football here. Jackson knows where the football is, and he turns around, he knows it's coming, and he just positions Brown to where he can't really do anything. And if Brown comes down with this, who knows? The Chargers might lose this game. Just amazing plays by Charger cornerbacks, like as simple as that. The rush gets all the credit. Tooley, Mack. Oh, Way had a big sack on that opening drive, but the secondary was unbelievable in this game. I mean, Hurts threw 4 interceptions. All right, boys, so in this video, we're going to be discussing last night's win over the Philadelphia Eagles. I know a lot of people are a little bit upset with how poorly the offense played, but you have to realize the Chargers are just decimated with injuries. Like, you can't expect them to go out there and to play a flawless offensive game, especially against the desperate Eagles team. That was never going to happen. I expected it to be low scoring, to come down to a field goal for the defense to make a play. And that's exactly what happened. So we're going to talk about the defense because this was one of the best performances that the Chargers have had in the Jim Harbaugh era. I mean, they held Jalen Hurts to 0 touchdowns. He had 5 turnovers, 4 picks, and then a fumble, which was off of a turnover in the first half. I mean, that was just a disaster. 21 of 40 is very, very low-level efficiency. A.J. Brown did have a good game, 100 yards, but he had a couple of plays that he just wasn't able to come down with, and that was truly the difference in this one. The rush was great as well on Jalen Hurts, just constantly getting in his face. Saquon had a 52-yard run. If you take away that, which I know it's not that easy, but outside of that run, the 19 others, like there's a couple of like 10 plus, but they kept him in check. Jalen Hurts was not good. This was easily the worst game that Hurts has played all season. Saquon was pretty much a non-factor. He had that one touchdown run that gave the Eagles the lead, but they kept him in order. And then like Goddard, Smith, I mean, like everything was in front of the Chargers, and you couldn't have asked for much better out of this defense. Jesse Minter, time and time again, continues to prove why he's one of the best upcoming coaching candidates in the league to run his own team. And that sucks for the Chargers because they're going to miss him. And you look at a team like the Ravens, well, they lost Mike McDonald to the Seahawks. The Seahawks are right now 10-3, and the Ravens are out of a playoff spot. So that's kind of the thing is the Chargers, I mean, they're going to have to figure that out. But for right now, you've essentially got 2 head coaches out there at all times, in Jim Harbaugh and then in Jesse Minter. Like when you look at the Eagles, they scored 3 points in the first 3 quarters. And then in the fourth quarter, they had that touchdown run, of course, to Saquon Barkley. They did not score in overtime. They had a chance. They got all the way down inside of the red zone, and Hurts ended up throwing a costly interception. Cam Hart made a play. Hart also made a play on A.J. Brown that could have honestly ended the game. So it's just plays like that that start to add up. And the Chargers, when the game was on the line, they did what they had to. Herbert gets the team down into field goal range. Cameron Dicker ties it. The Chargers, they get the ball first in overtime, which is dangerous because now the Eagles have 4 downs to work with. You put a field goal on the board, and Yeah, the Chargers, they just find a way. They always find a way. They're 9-4. Last season, the Chargers won 11 games. This season, they're 9-4, and the season should have been over a while ago. And we're talking about Joe Alt, Rashawn Slater after the season. Khalil Mack spent time on the IR. Now, like, and the offensive line also got even more banged up last night with Pipkins. Any other team of football would be out of the playoffs right now, struggling, thinking about next season, especially with Justin Herbert dealing with that broken bone in his left hand. And Herbert goes out there, and that kind of brings me into the next point of the video, and that's going to be Justin Herbert, my favorite player in the league. 12-26, 139 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, sacked 7 times. Herbert not only didn't even have a fighting chance to throw the ball with how bad this O-line is, like, just put it into perspective of how insane it is for the Chargers to be this banged up with injuries, and they still find ways to win football games. I'm not saying they're going to win it all. I think they have a chance to do it. Anytime Justin Herbert's on the field, they're definitely going to have a chance in the way this defense is playing. But can you just win games? Can you be competitive? Can you make the playoffs? This team could have given up a while ago. There was a stretch early on in the season where I was starting to think it was over. And it was weeks 4 to 6. Remember, Herbert had that incredible escape in the pocket, and then he found McConkey for the big gain to put him over 100 yards. The Chargers should have lost that game, and they would have lost 3 in a row. Well, they would have ended up losing 4 in a row because they still would have lost to the Colts the week after that. So, I mean, the season could have been in serious jeopardy. But that one win, and then they lost to the Colts, but then they won 3 straight. Then they got blown up by the Jags, and then they've won 2 in a row. They're going to Arrowhead. And if they beat the Chiefs, which I think they will, the Chiefs are officially out of the playoffs. The Chiefs have to win out, and even if they win out, they're still not even guaranteed a spot. So the Chargers have a chance to officially end the dynasty, which I think it's honestly over anyway. I mean, with the Chiefs, they're the type of team where it's like I need to see them officially out to believe that. The Chargers have a chance after all those years of just not being able to beat them. Justin Herbert can get it done and be the one that just kind of closes that chapter, right? Or chapter is an understatement, kind of a book to this point, right? So that's what I'm going to be looking forward to, but we will get into that in a little because we need to talk more about this game. So yeah, the offense, it didn't throw the ball well, but who thought it was going to do that? It was going to be a run-first game, kick field goals, put points on the board, and that's exactly why I'll never understand why a team like the Detroit Lions goes for it whenever they get the chance. Field goals add up. If you miss a field goal or you don't take a field goal, you end up losing that game so much. And this was kind of a prime example of it. Is field goals this was a game of field goals. Amari Hampton, 13 for 56. They weren't going to bring him off the IR and give him 20 carries, obviously. Herbert, 10 carries for 66 yards. If Herbert didn't have multiple clutch runs on 3rd down or 2nd down, they would not have won this game. So even though Herbert didn't throw the ball the best, he still made winning plays with his legs. He still gave the Chargers a chance. Kamani Vidal, of course, 14 for 44. Trey Harris had a rush. And then receiving, Vidal ends up going 1 for 60. So 1 catch, but it was big. It was that Herbert just kind of tossed at him that left side when he was able to get out of the pocket. And that was basically it. Like, I feel bad if anybody plays fantasy and they haven't had a Charger receiver last night. I mean, we're talking about Quinyon Mitchell was only targeted twice this whole game. And one of them was that, it was at, 3rd and 10, and it was in overtime. That's rough. I mean, those are the plays that kind of haunt you as a defensive back, as a former DB myself. That gave the Chargers a fresh set of downs. Non-existent game, honestly. I'm not going to say non-existent because the Chargers did march down the field and score a touchdown in that opening drive, but outside of that, I mean, it wasn't pretty. Like, there wasn't even a touchdown drive after that. The Eagles' defense came to play. But the difference between the Chargers and the Eagles is Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts has a Super Bowl. I like Jalen Hurts, man. I think he's a very good player. But in this game, at least, Jalen Hurts made losing plays and Justin Herbert made winning plays. Now, Herbert wasn't flawless. He had an interception. He also lost a fumble, of course, on a strip sack. Herbert fumbled another time as well in this game. I mean, you cannot turn the ball over late in the season, December, January football. The Chargers are really lucky to have gotten out of this game with a win. I was getting nervous. Like late in overtime, I was getting extremely nervous, but Cam Hart made a play, and he just read the zone, he deflected it, and it went right into the hands of Tony Jefferson, who just, it always does go into his hands, right? So yes, I am very, very pleased with the Chargers. It was kind of annoying, honestly, and I'm not even trying to be disrespectful, but it's just like after a game like that, just to complain about the offense, it just doesn't make sense. Like the Chargers, the fact that they won this game is all that matters to me, and moving forward, it's all that matters to me. Now, if the Chargers, if they win a game 3-0, I mean, maybe that's a little bit different. Like if they beat the Chiefs 3-0, I mean, it's still a win, but they put up 22 points. And a lot of times that's all they're going to have to do because the defense is this damn good. So next week is going to be an Arrowhead. Expect the Chiefs to come out ready to play because, again, if the Chiefs lose and they have 8 losses, you cannot make the playoffs with 8 losses. It's just not happening. Even like going 10-7, you're not guaranteed in the AFC. It's very competitive. You've got the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Colts, the Texans. Like there's just so many teams kind of fighting. With that Bengals loss against the Bills, their season is all even. Yeah, the Bengals still had 8 losses though, but actually the Bengals could have won the division. So there's a lot to play for. But I'm excited, man. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna enjoy this game a little bit longer. I'm not ready to get into the Chiefs yet. Maybe in like a couple of days, like tomorrow or Thursday. But all I know is that I picked the Chargers to win this game, and most people didn't. Like basically anyone that wasn't a Charger fan picked the Eagles, and man, they were proven wrong. The season is far from over. With the way the defense is playing, the Chargers can beat anyone. If they turn it over, yeah, that's a different story. But there isn't a team in the AFC that you could tell me right now that the Chargers can't beat them. The Broncos they've already beaten. I know they're in two totally different places right now with health. The Patriots like the Chargers have a chance, and that's really all that matters.